So, you want to learn how to ride a motorcycle? You want to start motorcycling? There might be a problem. There always has been with me up until, I don't know, several years ago. I'm almost 6.5 foot tall. I'm pretty tall, pretty heavy. So it's a little more difficult for me to find a bike to fit on, to ride, to be comfortable. Now, having said that, I've done some research the last few years, and about 2 years ago or so, I bought a new style of bike. Keep in mind, I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Southeast Missouri. Around here, there are sport bikes and there are cruisers. There's Harley guys and there's squids. Everybody rides, everybody does their thing, but I've never been comfortable. I really didn't know for years and years and years that there were other types of bikes. We just didn't have them around. Every once in a while I'd see something that looked kind of intriguing and try to check it out, but it was on the road, so I couldn't really tell what it was. So 2 years ago I started doing a lot of research. A little over 2 years ago, actually. It's probably more, 3.5 or so years ago. It took me almost a year and a half to decide to actually buy that 2023 BMW R1250 GSA. Now, after buying this GSA, I fell in love with this bike. Yes, cruisers, sport bikes are the most popular thing in my area. That's all I've ever seen around. I've seen old stuff, newer stuff. No matter what it was, you just really didn't see anything. Every once in a while, you would see an old Honda from the 70s, 80s. And those look cool, but they were also really small. My problem has always been being comfortable for any distance at all. Now, this GSA, yes, it has everything but heated seats, okay? And the only reason it doesn't is because at the time of its building, we were having issues with electrical components during the pandemic, we'll say. This bike I've made several trips on. I don't go far. I just like to drive. I like to ride and find a little 2-lane road somewhere and follow it, see where it takes me. We're in Southeast Missouri here. It's flat. It's nothing but farms, fields, trees, and that's it. I mean, look behind me. This is typical Southeast Missouri. If I had a drone and the earth was flat, you could probably see New York from here, but you can't. There's an airport behind me. They do have a lot of pretty cool planes that fly in and out of here. I think they're personally owned. But these are the parking lots at our sports complex here locally, and my wife is learning how to ride. She has a 2024 MT-03. We come out, we set up cones in these parking lots when they're empty, and I set up little kind of obstacle courses for her. She practices for a while, then we ride a little bit, and then we go home. I don't know that she really loves it yet. She does seem to enjoy it quite a bit. I know she's nervous, everybody is, but we're in our 40s, and imagine doing something like that, learning how to ride a motorcycle in your 40s. I couldn't imagine it. I learned in my early 20s, self-taught. I've had my motorcycle license for over 20 years. Never rode a bike until I bought my first one. Had to basically call a friend of mine, have him meet me at the dealership. I drove to his house, picked him up, and he had to ride my motorcycle home for me because I had no idea how to ride. Very next day, suited up, got my helmet on, pouring down rain and 50 degrees outside. I decided there was no better time than then to learn. So I got out, I rode for a few hours, slow in the neighborhoods, and then got out on some little 2-lane 55-mile-an-hour roads. It's pretty cool. Finally learned that counter steering is a thing. I didn't know that. Learned that too much back brake will lock your back tire up, especially in the old days. No anti-lock brakes. So there was a lot of things to learn. There was a lot of things I did learn. And I'm trying to see if pretty much any manufacturer of motorcycle has motorcycles in any range that I can ride, that I can fit on, that I can be comfortable on. Now, I do know when my wife bought her MT-03, let's see, it was May, I believe, of last year, she bought that. I rode it home for her because she doesn't know how to ride and she was nervous and didn't want to ride at home, which is understandable. So I rode it home for her. And when I tell you that I was grinning ear to ear the entire way home, just kind of blew my mind. That was the first kind of naked bike that I'd ever ridden. It's a small little 321cc engine. It's a parallel twin. It makes a cool little sound. You know, I joked with her and told her, 0 to 60 is probably 1 to 2 business days. But it actually does do highway speeds, 70, 75 miles an hour, with me on it, which is a feat in itself because me and the bike aren't too dissimilar in weight. Now, having said that, I have ridden it multiple times. Usually, in the beginning anyway, usually I would ride it out here. She would follow in her Jeep, and then we would ride around in these parking lots so she could get used to it. And every single time I get on that bike, I just grin because it is such a fun, weird, kind of fun little bike. You're not gonna do a lot, you're not gonna win any races, but it's super tight turning. It like, not tight turning, the turning lock to lock is horrible, but it dips in and out really easy. It's peppy enough to keep up with traffic in town. Now, you're not going to go on any cross-country trips on it, I don't think. I wouldn't, personally. Leg room is a little tight for me, especially. But my knees do fit in the dents in the gas tank where they're supposed to. It's not super uncomfortable for me. And I could probably ride that bike for an hour, hour and a half without being uncomfortable, which is amazing to me, with me being my height. Now, my BMW, of course, it's got the electronic suspension and all that. I can put it in the highest suspension, lowest, whatever. I mean, I can flat foot it no matter what setting it's in. My wife, when she gets on it, her feet are dangling. She couldn't touch the ground unless she slid off the seat and just had the back of her thigh on the seat. Now, that is amusing to me, but I do know that there are some YouTubers, females, that are super short and that do ride GSs. They do off-road stuff on GSs. And, they're super short. So it can be done. My goal, I guess, would be to get my wife as comfortable as she can on her bike. Once she's comfortable and she will take trips on it, interstate or back roads or whatever, I would like to try to get her on my Indian, my little FTR. She can touch the ground on it while sitting on it. It's, I'm sure if you're watching this, you know a little bit about bikes. And my Indian is a 1200cc V-twin. Plenty of punch, plenty of power, torquey, ungodly torquey, and super fun. I bought that last year so I could have like a little hooligan style kind of bike that I can just run around on. super fun. It's got its quirks. The only thing I like about it and don't like about it at the same time is it's got a full TOS or TOSI or however you say it exhaust, and it is the loudest thing I've ever ridden. Now, it's a V-twin, but it doesn't have the Harley thump, the thump, the thump. It sounds more like a European V-twin, and I love it. It is the funnest little bike. It is kind of tight in the seating position. Not as tight as the MT-03, but it's functional. I can do it. It's comfortable. I've taken it on hour-long trips. Perfectly fine. Nothing bad to say about it. Super fun. A friend of mine and I were going to go to Blessing of the Bikes in Alto Pass, Illinois on the 17th, which is not tomorrow, but next Saturday. But from the looks of it, it's going to rain. So we'll have to keep an eye on the weather on that. He doesn't really like to ride in the rain, and I was going to ride the Indian, and not real sure that that'd be a great idea. It's just too much fun to open that throttle on the Indian, and with wet roads, I've never driven it in the rain yet, so with wet roads, not too sure it's a great idea. Now, eventually I would like to learn how to take this off-road. I've never ridden a motorcycle off-road. Growing up, we rode four-wheelers. I don't even know if anybody that we knew had dirt bikes. We all rode four-wheelers. We all went and played, and most of us just had two-wheel drive four-wheelers. We didn't, even all the way up to my early 20s, I had four-wheelers, and they were just fun. So I've never ridden any motorcycle off-road. I would love to learn. I'd also love to learn how to kind of be a little hooligan on my Indian. Do a little sliding, do a little what it's made to do, little dirt track. I think it'd be interesting. I do know that BMW has I believe it's a 3-day off-road class out in South Carolina. I've looked into it a little bit. I would love to be able to do that, but with work and all of our animals and everything, and our Jeep stuff that we do, and some of the motorcycle stuff that I do, I don't really have time. Now, that might be something I can do after I save up some vacation time, or just try to decide when I can. But I think it'll be fun. I want to be able to do anything that this motorcycle will do. I think that is the best use of your motorcycle. Use it to its potential. We don't have tracks around here. There's no way I can take it to a track day. I would have to travel to do that. There's not really much of anything in this area that is, I don't even know how to say it. There's not much as far as if you want to ride four-wheelers off-road, you have to travel. If you want to ride Jeeps off-road, you have to travel. Growing up here, it's flat. There's nothing here. We're close to the Mississippi River. We did a lot of playing in the mud in vehicles when we were younger. That's all fine and good with Jeeps and stuff like that, but you break things. I like to go off-road. We play a little bit with a group from just south of St. Louis. We've been on a few rides with them in our Jeeps, and they're fun. They're slow. There's nothing that's going to destroy your vehicle. Our Jeeps are our daily drivers. So, we need those. Now, obviously, we have motorcycles, but our Jeeps they're our dailies. So we need to try to maintain those. We need to try to keep those in functioning condition. But this channel is hopefully going to be about motorcycles and only motorcycles. And I may or may not start a Jeep channel as well, but I want to learn how to off-road this. I want to learn how to do silly little stupid tricks. I've never wheelied on a motorcycle. We rode BMX bikes growing up and we wheelied them all the time, but that's different. I need to try to look somewhere in my local area to see if anybody around here can teach me, to see if anybody around here be willing to teach me. And that's the thing, we don't have that sort of culture in our area. We have a lot of motorcycles around here. We have the Harley guys that deal with Harley guys. Now I say that, but my friend that I go to Blessing of the Bikes and on little rides and things with, he's a Harley guy through and through. But he isn't like the normal Midwest Harley guy. And if you're from this area, you know what I'm talking about. They look at you like you're less if you're not on a Harley. Now, there are only 2 Harleys that I would ever own. And my friend Jeff and I were talking about this on our last ride. Mainly because all the rest of them are short and they're too small. If you've never seen a 6'5", 6'6" guy sitting on a Harley, it looks like a dad sitting on his kid's bike. And I went to look at a few. I love the look of the Breakout. I love the look of the Street Bob. Those are good looking bikes, but they're tiny in comparison to the normal things that I have become accustomed to. There are only 2 that I would ever own. One would be a Pan America and one would be a V-Rod. And both of those Harley guys don't even accept as Harley Davidsons. So that's the kind of culture we have around here. We have the little sport bike guys that just all run up and down a road mob style, and they think that they're, the next Rossi, but they're not. And most of them end up in a ditch or wrapped around a pole somewhere because that's just what they do. I have friends that have had bad wrecks on sport bikes because A, there's nowhere to go here to use them to their potential, and B, they don't have any training. The training is the worst part in any culture of motorcycling. I still have never had any formal training, but I want to learn. I crave that in vehicles, and I crave that on bikes. I want to learn what the limits are. I want to learn how to properly and safely operate everything and use it to its potential. Now, I might be the only one, but that's just how my brain works. That's how my mind works. I want to be able to use this BMW. I want to be able to use my Indian. I want to be able to slide around corners. I want to be able to do burnouts. I want to be able to do donuts on it. I even want to try to wheelie it. I know this one will. I popped a wheelie on my BMW on accident, leaving a stoplight and making a corner. But it was fun. It didn't scare me, but it was interesting and it was unexpected, so I didn't hold it. But some things I do on accident and learn from them, but I want to learn. There is no, if you want to shoot guns, there are training classes that you can go to. There are ranges that you can go practice at. If you want to become a carpenter, there's multitude of people in your neighborhood and in your area that will teach you, that'll show you the right and wrong ways to do everything. But riding motorcycles, there's no structured way to learn. As far as I can tell, in our area anyway, there's MSF course. And all that's going to tell you is basic how to work the motorcycle, how to function the motorcycle. That's not going to give you any experience. It's not going to give you any training. All that's going to do is allow you to pick your feet up and turn around in a parking lot. And then there you go, out on the road, out on the interstate, 70 miles an hour. Just have fun. So there's no continuing education or training for motorcycles, definitely in my area. But from what I understand and talking to other people, there's not any higher learning on motorcycles anywhere in this country. I know that in Europe they have their ranges of, you know, classes that they have to stay within until they log a certain amount of time or can pass a certain amount of things, and then they can bump up a class. But we don't even have that here. If you are 21 years old and you want to go buy anything, like you could go buy this BMW, you could go buy a Yamaha VMAX, you could go buy a Triumph Rocket 3 and have never swung a leg over a bike, and they will sell it to you, shake your hand, and watch you try to leave. And yes, my very first bike was an 1100, but it was a cruiser. That 1100 was pushing 70 horsepower, maybe, and slightly more torque, but it was sluggish. It was slow. It was fun because it was a learning experience. But as soon as I learned and knew how to ride, then it was boring. And there was not a whole lot to it. I ended up trading it for a truck. But anyway, long story short, we don't have any continued education. We don't have any continued training. We don't have any structured anything for motorcycles other than MSF. If you pass that, I think you get your license automatically. Or you don't have to take the MSF. If you pass the driving test, then hey, there you go. Enjoy. You're a motorcycle rider now. So that, I feel like, is where the problem is and the disconnect is. There's no ongoing training. Now, I would love to learn how to do everything that this BMW can do. Absolutely love to. I don't have anybody I don't have any resources. I don't have anything in my area that can teach me. I think that there might be a few like GS like clubs, but not in my area. I'll have to travel hours away. I think the closest one is maybe 2.5 hours away from me. And I don't even know what they do. They probably go even further away on their little rides. So, I mean, I just want to start this. I want to do this to get more people into it, try to figure out some sort of a meetup, try to figure out some sort of a structure, something that will allow all riders to become better riders. And yes, you always have to watch out for cars. That's always going to be a thing. You're always going to have to keep an eye on them. But we can learn more. We can do more. But why don't we choose to? I want to, but I don't have any resources. So I'm out cruising around by myself, trying to figure things out. Now, there's plenty of gravel roads for me to go to try practice on. There's plenty of Jeep style off-road a couple of hours away from me. But again, I don't have anybody to teach me how to do it, and that's the problem. So I guess we'll end this video here. Like I say, this is my very first video for this. I want to be able to ride every style and every size and every manufacturer of motorcycle that I can get my hands on. Because I think it'll be a blast to do. because I just absolutely love motorcycles. And B, I want to see if I can fit. The rider triangle has changed so much since I first learned how to ride to now. If I can fit on my wife's MT-03 comfortably, I don't know that there's much of anything I can't fit on comfortably. So I want to try. I want to see what is doable for a almost 6.5 foot tall person. I'm sure there are many, many, many people out in the world that would love to learn how to ride, but they're in the same boat I was in. You know, we're above average. I had actually a doctor tell me, in this country, I am, what did he say? I am in the top 1 to 1.5% of height in this country, in this entire country. So nothing is made for people my size. Like my jacket, I love Alpinestars gear. My jacket, when I move my arm, half my, you know, it looks like I'm a dad wearing a kid's shirt. Go back to Chris Farley, fat guy in a little coat. You know, same situation with pants, same situation with everything. Nothing is built for people my size. And I get it, because if you built everything for my size, you wouldn't make any money off of it. But can we have the option? Can you have a tall or a long version of riding gear? Now, I'm not all gear all time, but for the most part, if I'm out riding, it's helmet, jacket, gloves, shoes, and pants. But if I'm riding to work, it's usually jacket, helmet, gloves. I don't get up in enough time to make it to work and change before I have to clock in and go to work. That's a me problem, I get that. But it's also at 5 o'clock in the morning, so not a whole lot of traffic on the road. The only thing mainly I need to watch out for are coyotes and deer. So, but I would like to try other things. I would like to try other brands maybe. I know they make a lot of motorcycle jeans. Most jeans that I can go to the store and buy are also too short. So it's got me kind of trigger shy on purchasing a $150 to $200 pair of jeans as riding jeans if they're going to look like capris on me. So there's just a lot of things that I'd like to try. There's a lot of things that I need to learn, and even though I've rode for 20 years, I still learn every single day. All of us do. We just don't want to admit it. You know, I know people that have been riding for half the time or a quarter of the time that I have, and they think they know everything. They don't. I don't. Excuse me. I don't. I'll tell you that right out of the gate. And I understand that. So that's more of the issue is lack of I don't know. I guess more of a lack of opportunity. And we have several motorcycle dealerships in the area, but hardly any of them carry any kind of a decent selection of gear. They do have quite a few bikes. The Harley dealership local has quite a few bikes, but we have a Yamaha and Honda dealer local that they don't really carry a lot. They carry what they feel is popular for the area, so they can sell them. And I get that. They need to make profit. That's what they're in business for. But there's also a Kawasaki dealership that's 30-45 minutes away from me. Sounds like somebody's over by the airport having fun. But there's also a BMW dealership, obviously, also about 30 minutes away from me. Now, I know there are other dealerships locally, and I say locally loosely because they're anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours away, that do carry other brands and other styles and all. You know, they have a large selection. And I would actually like to get in touch with some of them to see if I can schedule some rides. Hopefully be able to take you guys along. Hopefully be able to fit and be comfortable. May open my whole world up to a different opportunity on what I can ride and what I enjoy riding. Now, I do love the fact that I fit so nicely on this BMW, and I fit so nicely on my Indian, and it's amazing how well I fit on her little MT-03. But also, there are a lot of different styles of bikes that I have never sat on, that I've never tried, never turned a key on, never swung a leg over. And I would like to do that. Hopefully, one of these days I'll be able to. Well, hopefully I didn't waste any of your time. Hopefully you enjoyed my little rant / conversation. And we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I might see if I can try to record my wife trying to do a little obstacle course out here during practice, or maybe just have my camera on my helmet, and whenever we go for little small rides, she leads and I just kind of follow, keep an eye on her, make sure she's lighting up her brake light, make sure she's slowing down appropriate, using her lane correctly, things like that. Just trying to keep an eye on her. I try to be quiet and try to stay out of her way, and just let her feel like she is just riding by herself. But try to throw in a few pointers here and there whenever I see that she may need it. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe you guys enjoy this type of content, maybe you don't. I do, however, feel like I'm going to keep making it. If nothing else, it makes me feel better. If nothing else, it kind of soothes my brain a little, just being able to talk it out, even if it's with myself. We're gonna hop on the bike, we're gonna get ready, get our gear back on, head back home. But I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I may cut 90% of this video, I don't know. I'll have to see what I like and what I don't. I may delete the whole thing and start over fresh. Maybe when it's not dark out. I did not realize it was going to get this dark this quickly. But anyway, this, I guess, has been the very first installment, we'll say, of 6'5" moto. And yes, I am over 6'5", but I'll round down. So thanks for joining, thanks for listening. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, that would be great, of anything in the Southeast Missouri area. It doesn't matter if it's an hour away. It doesn't matter if it's going to be a month or two before any of it is even there. If you have any suggestions on rides, if you have any suggestions on meetups, I would like to get a lot of people from this area met up somewhere and talk about bikes. Doesn't matter if they're Harleys, doesn't matter if they're sport bikes, old school stuff, BMWs, it doesn't matter. Ride what you ride. That's what we all enjoy it for. So again, thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed it. I may or may not make another video soon. If I do, you'll see.